Connecting community, creating impact. This is the Chamber Link.
Good morning and welcome back to the Chamber Link. My name is Abby Steiff and I am the Director of Member Development at the Chamber. But today I get to be the host of a really exciting show, which also happens to be the last show of 2025 for us, which is absolutely crazy. I have no idea where this year went. But I'm really excited to be joined by three of my incredible team members at the Chamber, Jane, Kale, and Catherine. Catherine she's making it on her way, but she'll be here soon. And we thought that there was no better way to end our last show here, but then to look forward into what the Chamber is going to be doing for our members, our community, and our region in 2026. I think we can all agree that we've taken this year to really analyze, reflect, and figure out the new opportunities and what we could be doing for our members and communities going forward. So I'm really excited to be sharing some of those changes today and what we're going to be revamping, adding, removing, all of the things. So before I get too far into things, though, I'd love for you guys to do a little self-intro, share about what your role is at the Chamber and what you do. And Jane, I'll start over here with you.
Sure. As Abby mentioned, my name is Jane Vangsness-Frisch, and I know some of you avid ChamberLink member or listeners have heard me on this before, but I serve as a Vice President of Workforce. What that means really is connect, convene, and collaborate to ensure we have the people power in our region to meet the demands of business and industry. It's complex, but it's really simple in that everything from the emerging workforce to talent, attraction, retention, and really focusing in how we can best thrive through workforce.
Yeah, absolutely. Kale, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm our Vice President of Public Policy here at the Chamber of Commerce, and really what my role is anything government affairs related. So anything that has to deal with elected officials, appointed officials, any government entity across all levels of government, whether it's the city council, city commission, state level or the federal level, and so have the opportunity to represent our members across all those different levels of government. In addition to my role as the Vice President of Public Policy, I also oversee our Military Affairs Committee, so have that underneath my portfolio. And now also have what we'll be talking about a little bit more today is our Center for Civic Engagement also falls underneath of my portfolio.
Awesome. Yeah. And like I mentioned, Catherine Grinberg, our Executive Vice President, is on our way here. But as our EVP, Catherine oversees our large sponsors and our Community Builder program. She's also a very external facing member of our Chamber team. So you'll see her a lot at events, meetings, engagement, all of the above. But yeah, so I want to dive right in. Kale, you mentioned it, the Civic for Center Engagement.
Center for Civic Engagement.
Center for Civic Engagement.
It's a tongue twister, I know.
Say that 5 times fast. But that is a huge initiative that we have started and launched. Can you give a little bit of a high-level overview first of what the initiative is and how businesses, individuals can get engaged?
Yeah, for sure. So I think starting kind of where we saw a problem is where we should really start with this. Is we're seeing folks less and less engaged in the political process in government, and really some folks aren't turning out to vote in key elections like primary elections, or people aren't running for office, and we're seeing uncontested races, and so and then on top of that, we're also seeing term limits come into place and things like that, and so we're really thinking, okay, how can we address this? Because ultimately, we're going to need more people to step up and raise their hand and say, "Hey, I want to run for office." But then we, took even a larger step back and said, "But there's more to that than just finding candidates to run for office. You have to really think about this holistically and really create this pipeline for, say, of folks, whether they're just voting for the first time or learning about what a city council does or a city commission does." All the way up to somebody raising their hand and saying, "I want to run for office." And that's what the Center for Civic Engagement is underneath of, is encompassing in this umbrella, is all of those different things. And so we really have an employer-led strategy, a business-led strategy. How are we getting more business-minded individuals running for office? Well, in order to do that, you have to have companies that are supporting them. You have to have a company culture that supports them and really wraps around them and supports them through that process of running for office, but then also serving an elected office. It's a lot to juggle. It's a lot to manage. In addition to that, we also have to make sure that we're getting folks out to vote for those potential elected officials in those key elections. We can have a really great candidate that's business-minded, that's growth-minded, but if we don't have folks come out in the election and support them, they're not going to win, and they're not going to be able to be that change maker that we're hoping for them to be. And then it's also looking at that education and again, that kind of the starter of that pipeline, our K through 12 students, our higher education students, folks that are maybe aren't as engaged as someone like me that understands the complexities of the governmental processes, getting them those kind of introductory opportunities, whether it's learning about, again, like a Civics 101 or Legislative 101, or it's a National Civics Bee, or it's an internship at the legislature, all of those different things. And so the Center for Civic is all of this and more. We could spend a lot of time talking about all the nuances, but that's just a little bit of insight of what the Center for Civic Engagement is.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot to encompass all in one program. What are you envisioning? What is the vision for, I'm going to redeem myself here, the Center for Civic Engagement going into 2026? Kind of what are you hoping for these next steps?
Right. Yeah. Well, for 2026, it's really an exciting time for the Center for Civic Engagement. We really have established ourselves in kind of a phase one this fall into this winter, getting some of the initial things off the ground. It's really, we're in that startup phase, and now we're really pivoting to that growth phase. I always continue to tell folks we're flying an airplane as we're building an airplane as we're flying it, but then we're also trying to figure out what parts we need for the airplane, because it's a very complex, it's a very, holistic issue that we're facing. And so we're trying to figure out what are the right pieces, what does our community need, at the same time as we need to see action now on this thing. And so that's, I think, the most exciting part for us is turning this idea into action. And we've done that a little bit here in 2025, but in 2026, we're going to really start seeing that with a primary election coming up in both North Dakota and Minnesota, as well as the general election in November, and finding candidates to run for those offices, getting folks engaged in those elections, standing up our Vote FMWF site for 2026. A lot of great things that are happening that aren't being done across the nation, frankly. We're trying to do here at the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the Vote FMWF webpage? What is that? Because I think that is honestly so awesome, and it's helped me personally a ton. Like, I've used it quite a bit too.
Right. Well, and we can't take credit for this initiative because it was stood up actually by one of our leadership classes during their initiative projects, their community initiative projects. And we took that, we said, this is a really great idea, and really said, we want to keep this going beyond that leadership class, and we want to be able to expand this to even more elections across our region. And so votefmwf.org is really a comprehensive website that has information on candidates. We put our candidate forums on there. There's testimonials from the candidates themselves. They fill out questionnaires that we put together that are, kind of that business-minded, through that business lens, making sure that we're asking the questions that the business community is really interested in. There's other great opportunities. I mean, the League of Women Voters does their own. There's a lot of other organizations that do their own, but we're kind of one of the ones that actually do it with that business lens in mind. And so it's a great opportunity to look from, all the way down the ballot. And that's what we actually do is we start with the kind of the down ballot races first, because they don't have the PR budgets like a U.S. Senate candidate would, or other high-level offices. We want to make sure, because Park Board and City Commission and County Commission are really, really important to the vibrancy of our community. We want to make sure that we're electing growth-minded individuals. And to first do that, we have to make sure that we can publicize, and we do it for everybody. It's nonpartisan. We're not picking winners or losers in this. We are just simply providing the information to the public to make an educated decision.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible resource. Definitely leaning into that education once again. But legislative session, I want to jump in. Right around the corner, Kale is literally non-existent.
Yeah,
he lives either in the cities or in Bismarck during those times. But what is going to be coming up here in Minnesota this spring, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. So the Minnesota session will kick off in February of this year, and I think we're going to get a lot of what we had last session. Is very bipartisan agreements. Really, probably no substantial changes because there is such a slim majority. You have a House that is tied 50%, and then you have a Senate with a 1-seat DFL majority, and so a really, really complex legislative system. When you have co-chairs of committees, you have one party ruling on the floor of the House. But from the business community standpoint, I hope we are able to see some significant changes on things like paid family medical leave. I think that's one of the largest discussions we've continued to have over the longevity of our of the last 4 years, is talking about how we need to make substantial changes to this program. It starts January 1st, 2026. Businesses, I hope that they're reading our articles that we're putting out on our blogs to talk about how they can become compliant and make the right decisions. But there's still a lot of challenges that this program faces, and so my hope is that we can make some meaningful reforms to that program. We recognize, again, with where we're at in the legislative process, we're not going to be able to eliminate paid family medical leave, but we're able to make some substantial changes that are going to have to be bipartisan. Last year was a budget year. I think we're going to continue to see requests for different budget items. One of the biggest things is bonding, trying to have a substantial bonding bill to help with some of this public infrastructure challenges across the state of Minnesota. I was in St. Paul last week meeting with the governor's office and the Department of Natural Resources. The week before that, the Senate bonding committee was in Moorhead, and then a couple of weeks before that, the House bonding committee. So there are a lot of different bonding priorities. I think it's always one of those things is we have to continue to play, have our offensive game where we're trying to make these reforms, but then also a significant defensive game, because there are a lot of mandates and a lot of different business regulations, tax implications that are being proposed. And so we end up having to play a lot of defense, saying, no, these things are bad. So waiting to see kind of what that all will look like, but very hopeful for some adjustments to those business mandates, for our bonding priorities for our community, and a lot of other priorities. But that's just a little bit about the session.
So much going on, and we have so much more to talk about. We're going to head into a break here, and then I'm really excited to turn it over to Jane, and we're going to be talking about a new workforce event that's going to be coming in January. So stay tuned and stay with us. Welcome back to the Chamber Link. Again, my name is Abby Stife, and I am here with Jane, Catherine, and Kale from the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber, and we are talking all about the future of what the Chamber has in store for 2026. We talked a lot about policy, and now I'm excited to hear a lot on what we're doing on the workforce front. And Jane, I want to start with an event on January 28th, the
Correct,
Workforce Forum. This is new, so please tell us all about it and why it is important that we're having this event as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Abby. So in November of 2024, we really looked at our goals and said we need to bring people together. We were hearing a lot of disconnect between those that are kind of executing human resources, right? Those HR providers. A disconnect between those individuals and the workforce activators and navigators. I often get questions about who those individuals are. Those are the nonprofits that are helping support individuals to get in or upskill within the workforce, or some of our government agencies like North Dakota Job Service, which does an amazing job, but really that disconnect of what do they really do versus us, and how can we work together to solve some of those issues? And so in November of 24, we pulled together our first workforce forum, which was smaller scale, but really focused on creating those connections. And what we found from that is that there was a need for more conversations, more discussions, and we're really excited to bring that back in 2026 in a bigger, better way, if I can say so myself. As you mentioned, January 28th over at the Armory Event Center in Moorhead from 11 to 4. And really what it will be is bringing together employers, educators, HR professionals, as I mentioned, nonprofits, policymakers to focus on aligning data, understanding strategy, thinking about our future in a workforce kind of lens, and then some actionable tools to build on the workforce regional needs. And one of those things is a hands-on skills-based hiring workshop that will happen in the afternoon. But we're going to start the day with Rebecca Ryan. And if you haven't heard or read anything that Rebecca Ryan has put out, I really encourage you to do so. She's a futurist, and she's going to help us kind of set the stage about really what does the future of our region look like? What does the future of workforce look like? And it's not necessarily what will it look like, how will we shape it? And I think that's such an important perspective that I'm really excited to share with the region. I've had the opportunity to hear Ms. Ryan speak before, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with our community.
I'm so excited. Naturally I have it blocked off on my calendar because I work at the chamber, but I would have it blocked off on my calendar even if I didn't. But I want to shift to the Good Jobs Challenge grant.
Yeah.
Just give us an update. Where are we at? How are we doing?
Just for those listeners that maybe aren't as familiar with our Good Jobs Challenge grant, this $9.62 million, that's $1 million award from the Economic Development Administration was awarded to the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber Foundation, which allowed us to bring that opportunity to our region, upskilling and training individuals in 3 major sectors: agriculture to the continuum of food. So that's a big one in our region. 110,000 jobs just in the state of North Dakota are related to agriculture, along with cybersecurity and information technology. So thinking that technology space. And then the last one is advanced manufacturing, which frankly encompasses most of the rest of our workforce, probably aside from healthcare, but there's even some healthcare jobs. So what that has allowed us to do is to provide support for up to $5,000 to individuals in our community seeking upskilling or further training to enhance their skills. So just get upward mobility in a current or future position. So we feel very fortunate to have this grant. We have 13 great training and education partners, which those individuals can access the training with. Right now, we are about a third of the way through getting those individuals upskilled. We have basically a little under a year left, but the numbers are showing very promising to get those 900 people upskilled within our community. But I do want to say, if there's someone out there, or if you have a cohort of employees, you're listening today and you're like, hey, I could really use my employees, myself, I could use some upskilling. Up to $5,000 is available per individual. Encourage you to go out to our website, fmwfchamber.com, click on that Workforce and Talent tab, and look under Good Jobs Challenge. We're happy to talk through some opportunities, scenarios, everything from, bringing a trainer in to talk about leadership if you're one in those 3 sectors, to, an individual maybe wanting to get a certification in welding per se, or something like that. So it's a really great opportunity. We're coming up to the end. It will end September 30th of 26. So training does need to be done by that time, but we're on the home stretch, and we're really excited to be able to fulfill 900 people in our community getting upskilled.
Incredible. 900 people. That's awesome.
It's very rewarding.
And I do want to mention that you and your team are so incredible. I've had people reach out to me and they're like, is this a dumb question? And I'm like, no, because your team will be able to answer it all pretty much.
You're right. Our workforce team is made up of Heidi, Betsy, Amber, who is our newest team member. And then we also have Donna Heck as well, kind of with that talent and retention piece as well. And, we're all willing to help talk through scenarios. We've had employers call and say, I don't think I qualify. And by the end of the conversation, we find a way to better, to be able to help them. So that's awesome. Give us a call.
Yeah. Work-based learning. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that has become kind of like what's the word I'm looking for?
Buzzword?
A buzzword recently. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Can you explain a little bit more about what work-based learning is, how the chamber can be a resource if your business is interested in that or creating a program around that?
Yeah, work-based learning is the most direct line to workforce or career awareness and exposure. So it is expanding meaningful career awareness and experiential learning. So I'm a former educator. So when I say experimental learning, it's really about test driving a career, whether that be through a job shadow, whether that be through watching a video even that has been produced for an age appropriate video for someone about a career. An apprenticeship, an internship, the continuum of, think of any experience. And since I've been able to work with the chamber and put on my former educator hat, we've had a lot of employers think that there's a lot of barriers when it comes to work-based learning. When you think about it, there might be. But we have, especially in the state of Minnesota and the state of North Dakota, we have a lot of resources that make it easy. For instance, we have Golden Path Solutions has a platform called Compass. Employers can go in, enter in that they're willing to do this, and they can, we kind of are the matchmaker. Like if you think of Compass being that matchmaker between you and that student. But then I talk to employers that aren't sure how to get started. And that's where we can come in at the chamber and really guide and mentor you to help understand what that would look like. Oftentimes we'll hear concerns about insurance. What does that look like? Workforce safety, OSHA compliance, all of those things, especially for our more technical careers, privacy issues in some of our healthcare. There are ways to ensure compliance, but at the same time providing that really amazing experience. And what I can tell you is that we know that students who have at least one, this always boggles my mind, have one work-based learning experience are 3 times more likely to stay in their community after graduation.
I can see that. Wow.
Yeah. If they know that if they can see themselves living and working here, especially working, and they might go to school and come back, or they might get that schooling at the same time that they're in that career path. Honestly, it's a no-brainer for me, but it's not an instantaneous opportunity for those employers. Yeah. It's a long game, and I get that. And it's an investment, and you might be investing in work-based learning for one student to get a different student, right? Because we're not only are students test driving the career, you're test driving an employee too. And we just want it to be a good fit. And the only way that we're able to do that is providing opportunity. And I think there's a lot of individuals that are probably listening out there that know my perspective on that. If you can be a giver of opportunity, you're going to change someone's life.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I'm someone from that statistic.
Okay.
I was offered an internship my senior year of college as a reporter, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing or where to even begin. And I was actually able to get hired right after that internship, and now I've been here for, oh my gosh, like 10 years, which is crazy that I've been in Fargo that long. But
well, we're happy to have you.
Thanks. But I want to transition into those who are unfamiliar with our work regarding ISPs or industry sector partnerships. Can you just 5th grade level break that down for us? What does that all mean, and what does that mean for our businesses?
Yeah. So an industry sector partnership is a convening. So, I guess we could dumb it down to a certain extent as it's a meeting, right? It's a meeting of an industry sector to talk about innovative ways that we need to better align. Oftentimes we'll have educators in a room, we will have the industry in a room, and we will have the workforce activators and navigators in a room. What an ISP does is around a specific sector. So take advanced manufacturing. We bring them all together and we say, what are we dealing with? And sometimes it's just a tweak in an educational curriculum. Sometimes it's maybe we just need to provide a little upskilling that maybe a training education partner can do very quickly. Or maybe it's just how we change language and go to skilled-based hiring instead of maybe more of a traditional resume, that kind of thing, that can really then realign our workforce. And so it's about bringing people together, whether that be virtually or in person, to have those direct conversations. So an ISP, we stood up 4 at the chamber here, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, IT, and agriculture. And so if you are in one of those industries, or maybe potentially you might be in 3 of the 4, honestly, we would love to have you as an employer there, or training and education provider, or even a workforce activator and navigator.
Oh, such good stuff. I could just keep on this topic all day, but we're going to head to a break, and then I'm going to transition over to Catherine, and we're going to hear a little bit more overall of what the Chamber can expect in 2026. So stay with us. Welcome back to the Chamber Link. I'm Abby Stife, and I'm joined by Jane, Kale, and Catherine. We're with the Fargo-Moorhead West Fargo Chamber talking all about the future of the Chamber. We just got done sharing all of the things we can look forward to in 2026 with workforce. And then I want to transition, though, over to Catherine, our Executive Vice President, and talk a little bit more about different events and opportunities that our members can get engaged in. But I know you weren't able to do a formal intro. I did my best to explain your role, but you can do it a lot better than I can. So feel free to introduce yourself here first and share a little bit about what you do at the Chamber.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abby. And yes, I love hearing the conversation about policy and workforce and all the things that are going on at the Chamber. And part of my role as Executive Vice President is to be able to talk to our members about all the wonderful stuff that's going on in the community, as well as hear from them kind of on their needs as members and how we can better fit our offerings to serve them as the members. And so that's why I didn't get a chance to do my intro here this morning, as I was having a community builder meeting. But what I love about my role at the Chamber is being really out with our investors, those that are our members, running the businesses every day, and being able to hear about the stories of the things that impact them and the programs, things that Jane just talked about with Good Jobs Challenge and the career work-based learning, all those things, the civic engagement that Kale talked about, all of that, and how it's impacting their business and how we can continue to refine those offerings.
Yeah, she did that definitely a lot better than I did.
No.
But I want to start with one big piece that our members in our community might notice going into 2026, and that is the Pulse.
Yes.
So the Pulse was one of our monthly programs. We are transitioning a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we're not going to see it as it is currently, but what can we see it as maybe heading into the future?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was really excited to talk about this because as we've transitioned what it looks like, we're getting a lot of excitement from the community and our staff as well. So the history of the Pulse, just for those that maybe aren't as familiar, we used to have Eggs and Issues, which was a monthly gathering where we would talk about big topic issues, whether it was safety or education, different topics that really resonated with the business community and the community at large, quite frankly. And then a couple of years ago, we transitioned that into the Pulse, and we changed the format a little bit, changed the location, freshened it up a bit. And we've been doing that successfully for a couple of years here. But the Chamber is really, like I said, trying to be responsive to our members' needs. And so with that, we've taken this year to really analyze where are those needs and how is our programming fitting that. And with that, we've made a decision that we are going to sunset the Pulse as we know it today at the end of 2025 here. And in 2026, we're going to transition to more flexible roundtables and info sessions that are open to more of our membership, open access, and really are meeting the time and the demand of what the topic of the day is. So what members can expect is, first of all, they should watch their email, the social media, all the channels of the Chamber to be able to see these opportunities pop up. It won't be something that's in every first Tuesday like we've had with the Pulse previously. Instead, it'll be an opportunity maybe that we have a congressional delegate here in town and we put a roundtable together to talk about a topic with one of them. Kale's done a phenomenal job already putting several of those together in the past. Those are the kind of opportunities we want to bring more members to. It might be something on workforce retention and placemaking like we recently had as a Pulse topic that Jane moderated the conversation for. Or it might be something completely different, something that, like I said, safety or convention center, big things that are going on in the community that we want to bring the business voice into. So keep an eye out for those, and we're really excited to see how we can kind of meet the moment and where members are at on these critical topics and in the next journey of what the Pulse is going to look like for new programming in 2026.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great transition and a little surprise opportunity. You never know when we might have a roundtable.
I love that meet the moment.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to stay on events because a couple other big changes that our members are going to be seeing is we're revamping and reworking what our chambers know or our chamber members know now as the annual celebration and Chamber Choice Awards. Those are also going to look a little different in 2026. Again, I think it's a great direction, though, that we're going with those. Do you want to break down a little bit about where we're going with those two events as well?
Yeah, again, looking at 2026 in alignment with our events and making sure that our offerings are really aligned for members. We made the decision that we are going to change our annual celebration to an annual meeting and really hone in on the business side of things. So think of it as a state of the chamber. Where are we headed? The things that we're working on. and in the direction that the chamber is going. So that will happen in March. And as a part of that program, we're going to bring in a keynote speaker on the business level, kind of think a CEO external to the region, bringing in a different perspective that maybe we haven't heard in this community. So that will be a part of that program, very business focused. And then, as Abby said, we're going to change Chamber Choice Awards. We're rebranding that whole event. So the big unveil, it's going to be the awards, and it is going to be the place to be. Kind of the culmination of all the Chamber Choice Awards you're used to will be the legacy leader at that event. So truly a celebratory event for our business community. This community deserves it. This will be the place to celebrate that. So we're really excited to hone in on the business things in March with that annual meeting. And then the awards have that celebratory opportunity in May.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great. Mark your calendars again for those two events as well. And then I'm going to dive into a little bit more of what your role is overseeing Innovate 28. Yeah. Really quick, for those listening that may not be familiar with Innovate 28, let's start there. Let's start with what this initiative is, the partnership we have with the EDC, and then what the future into 2026 looks like for this program.
Absolutely. And yes, Innovate 28 is something internally to the chamber that I get to help work with all of our team members. Both of you sitting here today, we work very closely on it. And Kale.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that is because what Innovate 28 is it is a 4-year collaborative campaign alongside the Economic Development Corporation in town here, and really focused on 3 pillar areas, which are public policy, workforce, and then business development, which the Economic Development Corporation leads on that pillar. And so this collective campaign, we came together last year and worked alongside Cass County and Clay County to put together an opportunity to move our region forward. And so there's a lot of different aspects that fall into Innovate 28, but really when you think about it, it kind of boils down to all of the workforce and public policy work of the chamber and then the business development work of the EDC.
Awesome. So why as a business should I invest in this or be a part of Innovate 28?
Absolutely. Great question. So our community is definitely on the cusp of huge opportunities, right? We know that. We've talked about some of the things today, but you look at our podcast and the different individuals that we've had on here, there's so much opportunity in this region. Innovate 28 is our opportunity as the private and public sectors to come together and be aligned on our future together and create that future like Jane talked about before with workforce. And so putting kind of all of our resources and efficiencies and efforts together, we can make sure that we kind of create that future that we want to for our region. So as businesses, I would invite you to the table to be a part of that. We're always looking for more individuals through engagement and investment to be at the Innovate 28 table, and you can definitely reach out to either the Chamber or the EDC, and we'd be happy to talk to your business about what that means. But I'd also be remiss if I didn't say a thank you to those that are already funding it, which is we have over 140 private businesses that have stepped up, as well as both Cass and Clay counties that have been hugely instrumental in making this possible.
But it's not too late to join.
No, we're only on year 2 of 4. We're just getting started.
Awesome. And then as well, visibility opportunities, sponsorship opportunities. I know you work really closely alongside of Corey Item, who is our Director of Advertising and Sponsorship as well at the Chamber. Are there any new opportunities when it comes to advertising and sponsorship that our members should be aware of going into 2026?
I'm so glad you asked, Abby. Of course there are. I have to give big credit to Corey. He's put something really exciting together that we've not done before at the Chamber, which are advertising packages. So the Chamber has a great opportunity to get your brand and your name out in front of the business community here in the region. So would highly recommend going on our website and checking that out, have a conversation with Corey so that we can really help align to your goals as a company, where you want to show up, how you want to show up. But these packages are kind of all of our different mediums, whether it's the Bridge, the Metro Profile, blogs, all the opportunities, and puts it into nice packages that are 20% discounted when you bundle. So yeah, definitely check it out. And then we've got some exciting new member benefits as well as the new year kicks off.
Yeah. Before we dive into member benefits though, when it comes to some of our newer events, I know this is going to, our show is already going when HTTC Expo happens, but that's a new opportunity the Chamber is taking on this year and then moving forward. Can you just break that down really quick, the HTTC Expo, and then into 2027, how can they get engaged? Or into 2026, how they can get engaged?
Yeah, so the Health Tech Trade and Career Expo is a long-standing career exploration and awareness event that occurs every December at the Fargo Dome. So we just got done with the one last week, but we're really excited to think through to 2026. We had over 3,500 students from the region attend, and it's a way to showcase not only your business, but your industry as well to the future workforce. It's really about that pipeline of workforce. Not only is there an opportunity to be an exhibitor there, but also to sponsor that and to put your name behind that program and say, we believe in investing in the future of our workforce and doing that through this really innovative event that occurs for, again, just under 4,000 students actually is what attended. So
awesome. So if you weren't able to make it this year,
December 26th.
Yes, check it out for next year. But as Catherine mentioned, we have some exciting new benefits and new opportunities for our members specifically and our prospective members, if you're not yet a member, that we'll touch on when we come back from our break. Welcome back to the Chamber Link. Again, I'm Abby Steiff, joined with my team members, Catherine, Kale, and Jane, and we have been talking all about the future of what is in store for the Chamber. And I would be remiss if I did not mention some of the exciting things we're doing within the membership space itself. So over the past year, we've taken a look at our membership booklet. So if you have not seen that yet, I would encourage you to go to our website and take a look at the different levels that we offer. So we offer 5 different levels of membership at the Chamber with different benefits underneath each level. And we've taken this past year to really, again, analyze and look at what are we providing for members? What value do our members get out of their membership? And we've revamped and reworked some of those. So some new advertising and visibility opportunities are in there. Some new event tickets are in there. And just continuing to get our members engaged. If you are not a member, I would encourage you to reach out. I would love to have the conversation with you, figure out how the Chamber can really be a resource and align with what your business goals are. We have so many opportunities. We're 1,600 members deep at the Chamber, and that's everything from our entrepreneurs to our large corporate offices. So I like to say there really is something for everyone. But yeah, there are a host of just different benefits that you receive initially when you join, and then some once you start to get engaged. So be sure to check that out. But to wrap up, I thought it would be fun to do a little round robin, a little hot seat question of what you are most looking for going into 2026. And Jane, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, yeah. I think that there's, the canned answer. There's so much to look forward to. What I have really, just especially over this, if I reflect on 2025 and thinking into 2026, we're finally, I think, on that tipping point of being aligned as a community because of what we've been able to do with Innovate 28, but at the same time, bringing together people to have conversations about how we can work collaboratively and more effectively together, especially around workforce. So everything from helping our small businesses to get into work-based learning and dip their toe into that, to our large corporate offices of recognizing the value of working with some of our workforce activators and navigators and the continuum in between that, right? And so what I'm most looking forward to is that collaborative, that collaboration that happens that eventually translates into efficiency and prosperity for our region, especially around workforce. And so I know it seems really corny or that kind of thing, but it is true. There's a lot of great synergies happening, and I look forward to, every event, every convening, every ISP meeting, every conversation really is trying to get there, right? And I think we're finally all chugging in the right direction, if I can say it that way. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I love that. Okay, Kale, toss it over to you.
Yeah, for 2026, I think the biggest thing for us is, like I said earlier, actually taking the Center for Civic Engagement, taking it from paper and making impact on it and making, rubber meets the road when it comes to that. And so we have a lot of great things that are happening. We just had a couple great events just in November. with the Center for Civic Engagement November, October. Looking forward to more events that are related to the Center for Civic Engagement, getting people interested in civic engagement and elections. And then just the policy nerd in me is just ready for the election cycle. It's always an interesting time when you have elections in process, because it really changes the tone and tenor of a community, and really excited to see the outcomes of that and how the Center for Civic Engagement can play into some of those elections.
Yeah, absolutely. Catherine.
Well, I talked about kind of this year being the time that we analyzed everything. And as people heard today, there's a lot of changes coming and exciting shifts within events, programs, kind of everything that the Chamber offers. So I think I am most excited for seeing all of that come to fruition. Things like our new member benefits rolling out on January 1st and being able to see members take advantage of those ways to engage, and really just getting more companies engaged overall, whether it's through new event opportunities, things like the Workforce Forum in Q1, HTTC Expo as we think of Q4 of next year, different opportunities that will come up for members so that we can get more of our Chamber members engaged with whatever path that looks like to them. Policy, workforce, our events, programs, advertising. We just have something for everyone, and we've been really intentional this year to move into 2026 with opportunities that align for value of our members, and I'm really excited to see our members take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am on the same page with you, Catherine. I think even after this conversation, you get into your day-to-day and you get into your kind of routine and your silos. And even though we all work in the same office, I don't get to always interact as closely with you, Jane or Kale. And Catherine's my supervisor, so I get to interact with her every day.
I was waiting for you to say me too.
But even just hearing again what we have in store for 2026, I'm so excited. Christmas break can't go soon enough. I can't wait to hit the ground running with all of you guys, and continue to get our members engaged. There's so many opportunities, and it'll be fun to see. I want to make sure, though, I didn't miss anything. I know that we have a lot. I know that there may be some opportunities that I just want to give you the opportunity to share about in case I missed it, if anyone can think of any at all.
I'm just going to give a quick shout out to our DC and Minnesota Date the Capital, the fly-ins. Those are great opportunities for business leaders to go to each respective capital and visit with lawmakers, not only from our region, but from across the entire state of Minnesota, for when we go to DC, across basically the entire United States. We were bringing a lot of different folks and elected officials to the table to hear the concerns and opportunities of businesses. And so really great opportunities for businesses to, again, go out to those capitals and share their voices with elected officials. And then just tying it back to the Center for Civic Engagement, just keep an eye out for anything Center for Civic Engagement related, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a letter to the editor, whether it's an event or resources that we're looking to publish here after the first year. Great opportunities there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the Days at the Capitol, because I had a couple members that just recently joined and were able to make it to a couple of those, and they had nothing but incredible things to say. And then they've just started to continue to get engaged in all of our policy work. And I'm like, look at that. You found your avenue.
Public policy is not that scary. From the outside, it is. But once you actually can break down some of those barriers, and I think that's what we are able to do, is help break down those barriers to make it easy for you to share your voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Jane, Catherine?
I think the one thing that I just wanted to make sure that we say is Kale just hit the nail on the head. Give us a call. If you have a question, if you have a concern, start with us. We're a liaison. We're a conduit. We're a helper. We're supporting our region. No matter if you think you're too small or too big, or the problem or question is too small or too big, give us a call.
Yeah, that is a great way to kind of wrap this up, because I totally agree with you. I know that it can, like Kale said, with everything going on, I mean, we have 120 events throughout the year. It can seem a little bit intimidating, but we're here to help you. And I just want to thank all of our community, all of our members, all of our partners, all of our sponsors that continue to invest in us year after year. It's because of all of them we're able to continue the amazing work that we get to do. So thank you all so much for tuning in. this is it for 2025, but we will be back in 2026. So make sure that you tune in then. But happy holidays and have a great Christmas.